Welcome to the most recent episode of the Enrollment Clinic. This is an episode that it's been months in the making. So I'm really happy that we're here today. My guest today is Mr. Sanjay Laul. He is the founder of MSMUnify and Dawood Global. Welcome to the Enrollment Clinic.
Thanks, Georgie, for having me here, and a very good morning to you and to our guests.
Pleasure. And as Sanjay, this is an interview that I've been going after for a long time. And the reason why I've really sought this after is because you are not only the founder of one of the largest international higher education organizations out there, but also you are vocal in policy, international education policy, domestic education policy. You're vocal about technology in higher education. So it's going to be a great conversation that I think will be very valuable to a lot of the listeners. The first question that I wanted to start with is, could you just give us a very quick background of how you started and how you landed in higher ed?
Yeah, so thanks, Georgie, again. And about my journey, it started from Lucknow, which is 425 kilometers from New Delhi, north of New Delhi. And that's where I'm born and raised up. Not a very global exposure in the beginning. Dropped out of engineering in 18 months. And then I've completed later on my graduation as a distance learning. But overall, my journey initially was full of turbulence. 10 years, one failed business after the other. One thing I never wanted to do was I never wanted to get into a job. And that was very clear when I was in my school days. I don't know where it came in my mind. But I always wanted to be into business, to be an entrepreneur. And being a first generation entrepreneur, not much guidance in my early years. And at least 10 years of my career, I struggled a lot. Started with a clothing store in front of my house and failed in a couple of years, then failed in other businesses. So it took a while for me because of less guidance, less exposure. And then in around 2000, I came to Delhi and I wanted to immigrate to Canada. Started going to the immigration consultants. And I saw a big lineup with immigration consultants. You would have to wait 3 to 4 hours with the immigration consultants in Delhi. And then I wasn't eligible to immigrate to Canada that time. And I felt, this is a good business. So much of potential and so much of weight for the people who want to immigrate. And with my cousins and friends, I entered into this business. So that was a start. Then of course, as businesses start, 4 partners started together, one after the other left because it was taking time to bring in revenues.
Yeah.
And in the 4th or 5th month, I got 3,000 rupees as a client came for visitor visa consulting. And that was the start, 3,000 rupees, Indian rupees in Delhi. And
Sorry, just what would be that equivalent in, say, Canadian or US dollars?
So now 3,000 rupees is $30 US. So
start, right?
And that was the start of my revenues into immigration. And then in less than a year, I had 21 offices for immigration consulting. And then the Canadian rules changed in 2003 and permanent residency rules, the point, skilled migration point changed from 67 to 73. That means now skilled migration won't be so attractive to the Indian audience. And then I ventured into education consulting. So from 2003 until today, and that's the love of global education. I am into global education, not because of business, not because of money. I think that's where the passion is, and love doing what I do.
The storyline, I think, for your story that you shared today is having that business mentality, having those failed businesses is a great education, right? It's a university in and of itself. And I think that's once you see opportunity and you see there's an outcome there, it's easy to jump in. Now that you are in in higher ed, now that you've kind of seen the industry, you've been in the industry for over 20 years now, and you've seen it at various levels, right? Like from working with agents all the way to villages anywhere in the world, right? To running universities, owning universities, starting universities. What is one thing about higher ed as a business that it was new to you from running all these other businesses? What do you think would be one big difference between higher ed and the traditional businesses that are out there?
So, dealing with the institutions, one thing I felt like other businesses, they're not so hierarchy driven. Here, the businesses, educational institutions, president, vice chancellor, then the vice president, provost, then the dean, then directors, very hierarchy driven. And people have a mindset that, okay, now you have to deal with a director, you have to deal with a VP. So, not that other businesses don't have those hierarchies. I think here in most of the public institutions, we are still way behind when it comes to the engagement with the stakeholders at different levels.
When you say we, do you mean you as an institution, or that as a partner to universities, or universities in general?
So now sector is divided into private and public. I think when it comes to private is more forthcoming and is changing and is becoming more like a corporate. Public still is a long way to go. Not that all institutions, I would say all public institutions are not so conventional. Some have become forward-looking, but a majority of the public institutions, there's a long way to go in terms of engagement with the stakeholders at different levels.
Yeah, agree. And now I think they're getting a lot of pressure because you have the domestic enrollment cliff, you have the international student cliff in and of itself. You now have in the US, there's a program that was financing grad students called Grad Plus. Now that's gone. So there's a mini cliff, domestic cliff also for graduate students as well. And I saw one prediction there that probably about 40% of current universities, public and private, will probably not be around in the next 25 years. And again, it's hard to predict the future, but now with all of these technological shifts, and I know that you follow, these a lot, what do you think the industry is going to look like? And again, it's very hard to predict the future, but I'd love to hear your thoughts on where do you see the industry in the next 5 to 10 years?
So as like all other industries and even the world, if you see, is changing. 2 decades before we had internet that came in and that changed the world. And I think this is now the AI that is going to change the world, how we are going to live, how we are going to act and react. So like all other industries, education, how it is delivered, whether in schools or post-secondary or higher education, this will all change. The next few years, I would say the next couple of years, I see that institutions, higher education that is very fragmented department-wise, now that is going to change, and that has already started changing. So it's going to be an integrated student life cycle model. So all, whether it is personalized counseling, whether it is admissions, whether it is learning support, whether it is retention, and even career guidance and the outcomes, everything would be integrated and departments won't be running in silos. That's the big change that we will see.
And is that, how are you preparing for that at MSMUnify?
At MSMUnify, you see, we are already investing a lot in technology and AI. And when it comes to the platform, I'll tell you, we have recently launched MSM Aventra, which is a CRM, student information system, and learning management system, all integrated into one. And those who have started using it, wherever we have given demos, the industry people feel that this is one of the best platforms, the way it is integrated for the whole student journey. That's where we are investing. We are investing in tools, we are investing in solutions, and that's the next era that we want to.
Yeah. I'm familiar with MSM. I mean, I've worked with MSM as a partner school for a bit now, when in a previous life as well. For a lot of the listeners that do not know much about MSM, what MSM is and does?
Yeah, and thanks, Georgie, for that. So you see, I'll give you with a background a little bit, and then how we have transformed and what we are today. So when we started in 12 years ago, it was primarily a global student mobility company and very focused on in-country offices. So we started with one Canadian institution in Northern BC, Northern Lights College. We got the second client as Selkirk College, and we provided support to them in terms of student recruitment as their country offices in India subcontinent, and brand and marketing and liaison with Canadian High Commission, working with the agents, education agents, due diligence of education agents, application management, and so on. From there, for the next few years, we continue to provide these services as in-country offices to more than 50 institutions around the world, and most of our clients would be public institutions. In the last 3-4 years, because of the cash positive we have been in the business, we started investing in diversification within the education sector. So at MSMUnify now, we have Global Student Mobility as one division, which has in-country offices and which has a platform where we have around 1,500 campuses, and students and agents can choose the institution. They get personal guidance. A lot of AI technology has been integrated into it for students and agents. So that's one platform. And then second, we have ventured into MSM Campus OS, which is our education process outsourcing model, where we operate more as an operating system. Campus OS is Campus OS. OS means operating system. Apart from student recruitment, whether it is brand and marketing, whether it is admissions, whether it is registrar office, HR, finance and accounts, we support all the functions of the institution, and we let the institution focus on education and education delivery while we strengthen their backbone of operations. So that's the second division. And third is our MSM Grad, which is again under MSMUnify. MSM Grad is into online programs, whether certificate, diplomas, and degree online globally.
And is MSM Grad is an OPM, meaning do you create your own programs or you promote programs from schools?
Both. So we have recently signed up with Davis University in Ohio as MSN Management. It's a 9 months management program, and student can take from anywhere in the world. They don't need to come to the US, and it's delivered partly by the institution and partly by us, same as with Wolf University in Malta. And we are delivering MSN Cybersecurity as a co-credential with MSM Grad. So MSM Grad infrastructure is strong learning management system law and very strong content delivery. That's where we have invested a lot of resources now. And whether it is bachelor's, whether it is master's or doctorate or certificate level programs, we have an infrastructure now to deliver and compete with the best of the universities in the world.
That's great. And how are you, because you are a very big proponent of technology and AI, how are you pushing your team to incorporate AI and these new technologies more into the day-to-day life of the programs that you provide?
So like any other company, I think there's always a resistance from the teams, and it took me a couple of months to find the ambassadors within the organization and early adopters. We identified those, and AI is being pushed at all levels every day, and we set up goals, monthly goals as well, of where we have to go with AI at every department. And one thing that has helped us is one, that we made sure that our senior leaders adopt AI first. Once they adopt, they understand the efficiency it brings, the power that it brings to their labs, then it becomes easy. And that's what happened. So that's one part. And second is because we are growing and we are hiring a lot of senior executives, we are diversifying. So one thing that we have changed is that at every level of hiring, an AI capability test has to be taken up by the prospective candidates.
Okay.
And that means we are making sure that we are an AI native company rather than lagging behind and trying to follow the industry.
This segues to an important topic that I wanted to cover with you. I know you're very vocal about higher ed policy. You currently reside in Canada. You do a lot of work there. You do a lot of work in the US as well. And specifically in the last year and a half, both countries have been on the news for their various changes to international student policy, domestic student policies. Specifically, Canada for a while stopped all the visas for Indian students. The US obviously has been going through their entire issues. They just released a new policy rules very recently, a few weeks ago, that made it really much more stringent for international students to come in, select the universities they want. The commitment now from an international student standpoint has to be very, very high to be able to attend American universities here. Tell me a little bit about what your thoughts are on these changes, and how do you think these countries, how they will affect these countries in the long term?
So before I start with the real answer of your question, I would say that very important we have to understand governments have a legitimate responsibility to protect quality, housing, immigration integrity, and labor market. And government makes a decision based on all what they have to take care of, and somehow our global education, international education industry gets impacted. So that's what we have to understand, how government makes decisions. In case of Canada, if you see, the government needed immigration, fast immigration, and it opened the funnels in 2012-13 for international education. When it opened the funnels, there were a lot of institutions that did things right. Some institutions that did not understand the funnel is open and they just took it as more of revenues. And that's where it goes wrong. When the government opens the funnel, government may be wrong. There was not much strong governance over it. And it's a learning process overall. Same as if you look at the US is making decisions based on what's right for the country and what's not right for the country. And global education or international education sector is getting impacted negatively because of it. But overall, I have to say, whether it is particularly for the US will still, I feel that US will continue to remain the number one destination when it comes to international education. Now, whether international education students are coming to the US or US universities are going outside. Look at the quality of education, the research funding. Which other countries can match that of the US?
So, what's your thought on China? So there are a few Chinese universities now that are clawing their way up to the top-ranked universities in Times Higher Ed list or some of these ranking institutions. What's your thought on that?
So China as a country, you see, they are making an impact leaps and bounds all over the world. If you look at Chinese goods, can any country really survive without Chinese goods, whichever way those come? So they became like if you look at China, they became like a manufacturing hub, but now they are not a manufacturing hub anymore, and they are making an impact in technology, in AI, and in every other sector. And that's a lot of that to do is with the way they have transformed their education. So whether it is Chinese universities or Chinese high schools, I think that's where the products are coming from, and that's where the real impact has come. So what they started 10 years ago or 20 years ago into education, and that's impacting positively to their country.
And do you think do you expect China at some point to be as big or of a international student, to be a market where students will go to attend universities as Western Europe, Australia, Canada is, and the US?
So if I'm not wrong, if we look at global education, receiving students plus sending students together, China is already number one. So in terms of global student mobility, they have already made a huge impact, and China would continue to remain one of the core countries in international education, whether it is sending students or receiving students.
That's a very good point, and I was in Morocco for some recruitment events there, and I was very surprised to know that China is actually the number one destination country for Moroccan students in terms of education. The US was not ranked very high in that sense, so China and France were the two top destinations, and even the people that I met there had actually graduated from Chinese universities, so that was new to me there. So I can definitely concur the trend that you're talking about. Now, if you were talking to, say, a VP of enrollment at a US or Canadian university, and then they're going through, they're seeing all these changes, what would you say to them in terms of what their outlook, what they should be expecting in the next 5 years?
So one thing, my statement would always remain same. International demand is not going away. Global demand for quality education will continue to rise.
Yeah.
And that's one part. And now when it comes to VP of enrollments, like all other positions within the institutions, the way this position has to work is becoming a little different because the industry has changed. The way we used to recruit students before in any of the institutions, now it is not going to work. So we have to look at if the policies have changed in, let's say, the US policies have changed, and the US institution VP of enrollment continues to do the same thing that he or she was doing 5 years or 10 years ago, won't work. So one is not to bank upon one program, one source country, and not to bank on just bringing in international students. I think very important is transnational education will continue to play a big role and will continue to increase enrollments for those institutions that are going to go outside. So that means we are not talking of just on-campus programs anymore. Hybrid and online will play a major role. And if we look at, I should have a figure somewhere for you, digital education market is at 44.6 billion, and the biggest part is that it would continue to grow at 31.5% CAGR through 2030. I think these are the important figures because there are a lot of research says that it is decreasing. At least the online degree market in the US is decreasing, but globally it's increasing. That's where the upside is, and VP of enrollments in the US institutions have to look where the growth is, where the greener pastures is, and focus there too.
And speaking of greener pastures, so you focus on a lot of different countries, right? You have country managers. What, from a geographical perspective, what do you think is an area that excites you in terms of where growth will be coming from? I was talking to a couple of people at different universities in the Balkans, and now they're interested, very interested in opening up to international students, which was something interesting to me, but I'd love to hear your perspective on that.
Yeah, so it's not just at Balkans, but look at Southern Europe or all over Europe. I think these countries have strong potential. And first, the countries were not open to international students so much, and they are opening up at the right time when US, when Canada, and when Australia and when UK, these big four countries are being a little restrictive. These countries are opening up at a time that's very right for them. So we will see a lot of new destinations, and we are already seeing these destinations emerging. The numbers will never be, we have to understand, these destinations, European destinations, won't have the numbers that these big four have got, or they won't be able to accommodate. Now, these countries will have less numbers, maybe 20,000, maybe 30,000, maybe 40,000 overall. But look at the collective. If 20 new destinations are able to bring in 50,000 more students on an average, what a number that would be.
Yeah. And what's your thought on Africa, not just as a source of international students, but even within the countries there? Are there countries that you think are going to be big into drawing students from countries around them?
And that's already happening a bit. So, like if you look at South Africa, it's drawing students from other parts of Africa. So those who will be a little more developed than the other African nations, we have seen and we will now see a little more student mobility from one country, one African country to another African country. We'll see that mobility more. But if we look at overall, African students should be, these 54 countries should be counted as one big market, and they will remain big source countries for other destination countries in Europe and North America.
As we're approaching the end of the episode, I wanted to spend a little bit of time just talking about MSMUnify's platform. We had mentioned earlier Campus OS, and that was interesting to me because it felt like, and I like the thought of an operating system for schools, right? Well, like an interesting way of packaging all of the different products that you provide. Just can you give me a quick overview of Campus OS? What are some of the products in there, and with the universities that you currently are working with, how are they using these products?
Yeah, so how this Campus OS even came into existence, I would start from that. You see, apart from MSMUnify, Laul Global runs a few institutions, few private colleges in Canada, and now have recently opened up a university in the US. That's our first foray into higher education in the US with Florida Coastal University.
Okay.
So that offers bachelor's, master's, and doctorate level programs in business management, information technology, and educational leadership. So while supporting these institutions overall, while building this infrastructure, whether it is LMS, Student Information System, or CRM, we found that we have, over a period of years, we have built quite a bit of strength within the group to manage institutions. And then, because of MSMUnify, when we were interacting with institutions, we could understand the pain points of the institutions. That's how the idea of MSM Campus OS emerged. So it's more of an education process outsourcing model, and which is supported by technology, which is supported by data and specialist operating teams. So we would have teams for digital marketing, admissions, student support, student engagement, technology support, analytics, finance, registrar, HR, and compliance. So we have created more of a backbone of an institution where an institution can focus on education and education delivery. And we can help them manage everything, whether it is to improve the turnaround time for conversion, for student support, and the best part is bringing the cost efficiency and a lot of management visibility.
And right now, is there specific countries that you're focusing on with this service? Is there what's like the product map, the go-to-market product map?
So we've already signed up around 15 institutions, and most of these institutions are signed up in India and a couple of institutions in Europe. And because this has started just 3 months ago, but we have got a head start with 15 institutions, and we expect to sign up at least 4 or 5 institutions every month. So the teams and the technologies are being scaled up with that pace now.
And for the US, I would assume the Florida Coastal University is using this model, right? This backbone.
100%. Florida Coastal University, the backbone is the infrastructure of MSM Campus OS that has been created. For the US, we are looking at increasing our team strength in the US, and then in the next few months, I'm hopeful that we'll be supporting many US institutions with our MSM Campus OS model.
And what is, because that's a great segue to my next question. What is the crux of the discussion with, say, enrollment leaders in the US when you're proposing Campus OS?
So if you look at quite a bit of not-for-profit institutions in the US, they are facing financial challenges. They are facing declining enrollments. And MSM Campus OS is a great solution for them, where they can bring their costs down. They have, let's say, not spent a lot on upgrading their technology. Campus OS becomes the right solution for them. And we are hearing a lot of positive feedback about MSM Campus OS. But it's just that in the US institutions, decision making takes a little bit of time. Our models have to be well compliant with the accreditation bodies, which they are completely now. That's where I am seeing a very good potential for MSM Campus OS.
Yeah, I think one of the difficulties, I'm sure, for these enrollment leaders is having to offload their staff, right? The finance teams and all of these other day-to-day people that are walking around campus. And in a sense, I think one of the reasons why, or one of the discussions on why university costs have gone up is because the amount of staff has tripled and quadrupled. So I can see how there would be a lot of value here. Now, I have one last question for you, and it's a question that I ask a lot here. What is one thing in our industry that we're not talking about, or we're not talking enough about?
The main thing would be, I would say, student outcomes. Not that we are not talking about. You see, we are in education sector. And if you look at, there is no dearth of learned people or even ideas in the sector. So in fact, in the sector, we discuss about everything. It's not that we don't discuss about these things. But the real question is whether we are walking the talk on student outcomes. Not completely. So that's where I think the industry has to do a lot, that student outcomes have to really meet the expectations of the student. They should be able to get into the job market or into entrepreneurship of scale.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much, Sanjay. This has been a pleasure, and I'm sure we could have had this episode for 3-4 hours and still continue to talk. So I'm hoping to have you back at some point and see what the progress is of some of the universities in Canada and obviously Florida Coastal University as well.
Thanks, Georgie. It was great chatting with you, and look forward to the next one as well.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Take care. Bye-bye.